Welcome back to the HGC. Did you actually see Dread and Gilly's video?
Yeah.
Available now on Heroes Esports Twitter. If you have a chance, go check that out. Give it a like, give it a retweet if you like it. Pretty interesting information you'll learn from them.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Dread with the sick lines. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3.
It's just made it more funny that they released the video when he got sick.
I know. All right, here it is. Infernal Shrines, the battleground for Fnatic. And for those looking for an update, I don't know if you expected this, but Fnatic is up 2-0. I will tell you what we did not expect was for game 1 to be so close. But Fnatic going into game number 2, they made sure to put any suspicions out of misery.
Yeah, and also why they usually ban on Dragonshire. I think that plays a bit of a part in this too. But now we're going into the next map in Infernal Shrines. This could be where the Zealots turn it around, or where Fnatic is getting another 3-0 victory. And yeah, they are just stomping to phase 2 at this point.
That they are. This is a battleground that we see a lot of poke around the shrines, looking for those fights. Wubby shows off his side laning a lot on this battleground, so very excited for Fnatic. But can Zealots stay in it? That is always the question that we will keep asking here as we head into it.
This is also our first map today where I would say Leoric is going to make an appearance. Fantastic map for him. That's really where he shines now, with his level 13, 16 synergy, so that's something that I am watching out for. I would be surprised to not see him here. But let's see what the Zealots are going to ban out for now. We have seen a lot of focus on ETC overall as an early pick in all of those games, and sometimes teams even tend to ban him out here. And Zealots could, for example, think about going into a ban on the Haka or ETC to get the global and deny to the opponent.
Last time they had the ability to move into ETC first, they banned out Dahaka, and that's the same here.
Yeah, so we're going to see Fnatic react to that. Could be the ban on Tassadai again. They could also ban out ETC himself, of course, which would allow the Zealots to go into Tassadai if they want to play a double support composition.
Which then opens up the double support, as you mentioned, but also the Tracer play that we've seen from the Zealots in the past. Fnatic have to consider what they want to get rid of. Typically, when it comes to Fnatic, if they feel like they are going to be unfazed by their opponents in their drafts, they move into Tassadar right away.
Yeah, he has on my monitor, and I can tell you they're not mine. It's a pretty safe bet, I'd say.
Do we blame KO? Did he come in yesterday and just destroy your monitor?
Oh wow, KO, we need to talk.
I thought he was Bayo.
That's not okay.
But he's not.
Tassadar is being banned out, keeping ETC in the run, of course, and that means that the Zealots can now start with ETC as their first pickup. They did it before. Again, Lauba really enjoys to play the hero. It's a great meta pick, so there's no real reason why you wouldn't go into ETC here. Fnatic, on the other hand, let's see how they are going to react to it. We have, again, opportunities to head into some Bala combo if they want to early on. They can also just simply drop their healer at this point, maybe go for Rega again, or go for Uther. Both of them available here, whereas with Uther, of course, you would shut down any kind of Mosh Pit, Divine Shield combos, but Fnatic's rarely getting caught by big Mosh Pits, so usually they spread out during fights quite well, so they can attempt to simply play around it.
Still a threat, so the textbook play is to grab Uther plus X hero, whatever you want to move into and set up your team really well. What I am curious about is later on the warrior play. I want to see more Diablo, and this is a battleground where Fnatic is most likely going to pull it out, that and Tomb Spider Queen, and I would love to see him here. It is a bit hard to pull off against ETC if you get the wrong engage that you want. He has a power slide back, he also has a knockback to control you a little bit, but Breeze, man, he's always phenomenal on that hero.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to bully ETC, right? If
Ooh,
you stun him.
Give up the Uther, B-dubs.
And there's the early Leoric. First pick. So again, Leoric played a huge role this weekend already. We've been talking since Friday about his newfound strength with the rework. And so far, the maps that we've seen in this series are not really the best Leoric maps. It's maps where he still gains a lot of value, but the new playstyle shines more so if you have big team fights happening on single objective. So Infernal Shrines is one of, like, hands down, one of the best maps that we have for the new Leo. So it doesn't surprise at all that we have an immediate pick by Fnatic here.
Towers of Doom would be another battleground in case you are looking for where you could pick up the Leoric for your own games. Could see Sky Temple, but maybe a bit too hard to pull off if you have a bad early game and get pulled off into the second temple, but still doable.
Sky Temple is one of those maps where it can become a bit awkward if your opponent out macros you. Usually the trade-off is that if you head into Leoric, that you oftentimes have to give up the Haka, so your opponent can try and play the global game against you. Another map would be just Tomb the Spider Queen in general. Of course, you have to be cautious that you don't get snowballed by your opponent, but he still shines on the solo lane, so you can play him as a solo laner and then focus on team fights with the rest of the team since it is a smaller map. But Fnatic claims him early on, allowing the Zealots now to go for that triple synergy that we talked about earlier already quite a bit. Divine Shield on Uther can either be spent on Genji to allow him to jump into that backline, or if you see that God Mosh at some point as an option, then you can always drop it on ETC and make sure that the mosh pit doesn't get interrupted. If he hits 3-4 heroes, then that might be more valuable than allowing Genji to be safe when he darts in with a Dragon Blade.
Now with Fnatic picking up the Leo, consideration for a ban could be the Sonya as a ban. First off, she's good on this battleground for the Shrines, and secondly, she seems to be the main go-to against a Leoric in lane. That's if Wubby fears playing against her. There are other choices too if you want to make sure that you just win out on the Shrine phase, which already Fnatic has set themselves up pretty well to do so with that Grey main. Could try to ban out a mage that you think would be strong there. Gul'dan works here. Jaina, even though we haven't seen her in Europe, I think she's great on this battleground.
As long as you don't talk about Lava Wave, I'm happy. Sonya is being banned out, so that's exactly what Trixter just said. Zarmini loves to play with Sonya, and it's not really coming as a surprise. Sonya does well against Leoric, so let's love to play with Sonya, so that's just a no-brainer right here.
So now Zealots will think about their ban. Nothing really comes to mind right away. You could take away the Rhaegar if you want to be safe and make sure that you have one of the better supports that are currently available for your pickups, so making sure to have that cleanse available. The lockdown here too. They are thinking about that Diablo that we mentioned at the very beginning of the draft, and then take it away.
Yep, Diablo banned out, so Breeze needs to look for another hero here. Not that he doesn't have enough that he can choose from, so at this point they don't even have to go into the tank immediately. Rhaegar as a support is what you would expect here. He caters way better to the battleground itself than Uther does, but Uther of course has the added synergy with Genji and ETC, which is why the Zealots have prioritized him. When we're talking about Fnatic, we're definitely looking at, or I would assume, Rhaegar as a support. Then the question remains, what is going to be the frontline tank? And there we have a couple of options for them as well. You could, for example, head straight into Arthas once more.
Arthas, Nubrak, anything to force those fights. Nubrak might have a harder time here. There's a nice amount of CC already set up for the Zealots, but lots of options available for Fnatic to move into. You can even go for Johanna if they just want to make sure that they can pop the Iron Skin and just clear.
Yeah, with Johanna you have to be careful that how you manage your Iron Skin if you go up against ETC and Uther because of the stuns. You can't use it too early or they will punish you heavily for it, especially if ETC gets an opportunity to push through you and move in. But they go into Tyrael now instead. So Fnatic is really one of the few teams that we see in Europe right now that starts to prioritize Tyrael a little bit more highly. He's always more so been a hero that we see a lot on the Korean scene, but in Europe, Fnatic is now adding him a lot more to these compositions as well. And it also tells us quite a bit about how they are trying to play this. Either, again, with Judgment, or they can simply say on the Shrine, we use Sanctification and allow Greymane to dive in deep.
Pretty versatile, too, the way they've been using him. Either Wubby can run it, we can have Breeze. I'm assuming Breeze will be the Tyrael for this game, so probably Sync just to make sure they're set up. We can go in for those dives. A bit harder to pull off against Uther. Now, for Zealots, they're going to be needing a little bit more damage and a little bit more clear, too, if they want to contest the Shrines. There's always the possibility of going for the offlane play and trying to out-macro your opponent. I am curious to see what we're going to get Zarmini on. The last time we didn't have Sonya or Dahaka available in the map, they went for it in a new Barak. So let's see what Zarmini can get.
They can still play Arthas, so that's one hero that still stands out here. The ETC and Arthas comp is something they already tried, but in this case, it is going to be Malthael instead for the offlane that we're going to see against Leoric now, with Kel'Thas being the added damage dealer from the back, also adding, of course, more AoE for potential Shrine control.
KT and Malthael. Late game teamfight looks scary for Zealots. They get the engage they want to. Have Malthael with Tormented Souls, and then Kel'Thas dropping down the Living Bomb, spreading members out. Genji goes for the pickoffs. Pretty great synergy here for Zealots. How does Fnatic round out their composition for their 5th pick?
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar?
I mean, at this point, I actually think not Rhaegar, because usually I would have expected an immediate drop on Rhaegar as the support. But since they're hesitating this much, they're starting to look more and more as if they're going to experiment a bit and take someone else instead. And then the question is, who remains? Are they adding a Kharazim to try and dive even deeper into their opponent's backline with Tyrael and Greymane, and Leora walking in? Oh no, they go for the safe play here.
They were discussing Bloodlust.
That's probably it. No, but seriously, like, how long they actually waited for this pick? I mean, Rhaegar is the obvious pick here. You have the 2 top supports in the meta at this point, which is Uther, if you find synergy with Genji, and ideally also on top of that ETC. And if not, then it's Rhaegar, especially since on this map, he gets added value to the objective. So if you wait this long to confirm your last pick, that always indicates that something else is being discussed, that they are maybe trying to show something differently or throw it. I mean, they could have experimented with any kind of setup here, and maybe discussing, hey, let's try the new Morales here outside of scrims in the actual HGC matches. Let's play maybe with the Karazim and try to be super divey into the backline. But Rhaegar is the safe and normal pick that you would have expected. Just took them a little bit longer.
It could have been a case of, which sport do we play here? Karazim works, Stukov works. Wait, Rhaegar's up. Pick Rhaegar. This could have been what been happening for our teams. Now let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3. The Zealots need to win or they're going to take a loss to Fnatic. Coming into it, Chad even mentioned in the interview, man, things aren't looking good for us. We're probably going to lose this match. And Fnatic coming out showing why they are the top dog in Europe. Let's see if they can get the 3-0 as we move into Infernal Shrines. The Zealots looking for a win.
Game number 3, everybody. We are on Infernal Shrines with Grand Paquette for the Zealots on Uther, Lauba on ETC, Poik this time on Kel'Thas. We see Zarmony on Malthael, Death itself, and Shat on Genji.
On the right side in the red, Fnatic up 2-0 over their opponents. Wubby playing Leoric, Breeze playing Tyrael, Quacknix on the Greymane, Schwimpy playing Abathur, and Smexy will be your Rhaegar player.
So when it comes to builds, Leoric again we consume Vitality as expected. Lightning Bond for Rhaegar also taken. So the standard talents for most of the, actually right now for all of the heroes that we see in the setup. We have Prog Rock for ETC to add a bit more heal to the Uther composition here. And of course Mana Addict for Kel'Thas, the go-to talent for any top player on the hero.
Now how the map has opened up, a bit different from what we saw in Cursed Hollow. We saw Fnatic group up as 4, and they had Abathur soak the other lanes, try to break down a tower. A bit harder to pull off an Infernal Shrine, so instead they go for a 1-1-2, with Abathur sitting there ready for the hats. Leoric can have a pretty solid time in the top lane, and I am kind of curious to see how Malthael fares against that Leo. Be much better too with the Shad coming around the corner as Genji.
Yeah, but Abathur immediately helping out. This is one of the things that Schwimpy was just waiting for. Where are they going to strike? He knew that at some point the Zealots would make a move, so Abathur was actually playing this very carefully and making sure that he could help out there. So Fnatic currently with the Abathur composition that gave them success on Cursed Hollow, now also trying to utilize the Worm on Infernal Shrines. Normally indicating that in the early game you have to be a bit more careful engaging into a team fight since you're missing that extra hit point bar in the battle. But they have done incredibly well on Cursed Hollow, so they are going to show that aggression once more with Abathur, which is a logical decision in my opinion.
It's a great decision. Very smart. It seems that they have evolved as we go into game number 3.
Yeah, you could say that. Like we are horrible.
I got nothing else after that. I was waiting for you to go for the fun so I could think about it.
I didn't really expect you to go in as well. I thought you would just make fun of the line. So yeah, next time I'll be prepared next time.
Well, Fnatic hoping to worm their way to the top and grab the shrine. Work on clearing up those minions as Zealots answer back by pushing on the bottom side, grabbing the turrets, getting them a little bit weaker and grabbing experience.
It's just a trade in EXP that you're trying to gain through structures that you take down. And the early level 4 talent heading into a shrine is of course always going to give you a slight advantage. But as we said in the past, you can let the early Punisher slide here, the first or even the second one on the map if you find value somewhere else in terms of taking structures down. But right now, Leoric is caught up at the top, but it looks as if Wubby is going to be able to get out of this one. Shad uses Deflect and moves away. We have by now Neil Peasants taken by Leoric. And with him already delivering 12 minions to Fnatic, it also slows down the objective progress for Zealots, which gives Fnatic more time at the bot lane, where they're currently using Quacknix to take down the wall and also focusing on the fort itself now. And, I mean, we all know what kind of a beast, no pun intended, Greymane is against structures, so it doesn't really come as a surprise that they're doing so well at this point. Breeze dies up at the top. But even with that, they're still slowing them down and give space to the heroes at the bottom.
Yeah. You mentioned the 12 minions that were grabbed earlier by Wubby, and what I liked about that play is it grabbed the attention of the Zealots and made them decide, okay, we want to run to the top side and we want to contest the shrine. We should be able to win it if we were to have an actual fight. Boy, getting low on health here from Abathur Mines should be able to escape.
I love how Schwimpy pinged them as well. He was just like
everyone look,
I'm getting him, I'm getting him.
He did have that kill last week, which was Was that on Mopsio?
I mean, he also prepared the kill earlier against, I think it was Rega, as Goran Paquete on Cursed Hollow was trying to move away.
True.
But yeah, so they get the fort at the bot lane, so they get the kill. I don't know if it was really necessarily for Breeze to die up at the top and for Booby to die as well. Overall, there was 2 kills. But they will get ahead in structures, and that's the big part and what they are trying to accomplish here. They have now the lead in experience. They have a massive lead in structure since they were able to take the fort down. And with Smexy not even bothering about helping out with the Immortal, he's just sitting down here trying to take the camp. Abathur can help him out whenever, so they are going to take even more control of the map. So overall, Fnatic, with an Abathur composition, doing extremely well this early on.
They're just playing the map. And they're playing their mobility to their hand. Doing such a great job of getting the Rhaegar on the bottom side that opens up the Goatman to be pushing in. Shaq goes down for the defense, and that means they set up for an invade in the top left. And if there was to be anyone there, they can go for a kill between the Greymane and the Tyrael and Abathur hat. I love Fnatic's play right now. I
mean, you also have to understand where their power spike is. They understand fully well that their big power spike hits on 13 when Leoric is going to get his Omnious Wrath, and on 16 when he gets the cooldown reduction. So everything before that, as long as they don't fall behind, is absolutely fine for them. If they trade evenly up to that point, they find themselves in a great spot, especially since another big power spike for them is level 10. That's of course in general a power spike for both teams, but for them even more so since they need to rely on Abathur's copy. So them getting ahead this early on and even having the advantage in structures is fantastic. The only thing that in theory we need to prevent is the Zealots from snowballing too hard, and that already happened a long time ago.
Yep, and part of the thing that helps that is the mines constantly being down, giving vision consistently to Fnatic. They see 1 to 2 people, they can make the proper movement towards a different area of the map. Though we saw that with the fort, we saw that with the Mercs, and now with the mines in the middle showcasing that ETC and Genji in the area, we see the Mercs in the top right being grabbed.
And we have to quickly highlight, because we've seen it, but I want to make sure that everybody understands why Fnatic was actually able to push this heavily. It's mainly because they have Greymane and Rhaegar. Rhaegar with Lightning Bond and Greymane, the Wolf Pack here, has so much pressure against structures that they can easily, as a duo, take those out, especially if Abathur now helps out as well. And that's one of the reasons. With different heroes here, they would have had a much harder time to really break through that. But now they have an early level 10, or will hit it soon, and that's the reason why the Zealots don't even move in for that fight. They can't. They cannot move in towards the shrine, because once they do that and Fnatic hits 10, they're all going to die. So they need to sit tight, and this is one of the hardest lessons in Heroes of the Storm, and one of the most difficult lessons to learn that especially the lower league players can't really accept. Sometimes when you realize my opponent has an advantage that is too big, you have to give up a camp, you have to give up an objective, and that's exactly what the Zealots did. They knew they couldn't get the objective, so they sit tight and they say, can't go for it, have to wait for 10. Before that happens, we cannot make a move.
They do hit the 10, but the Punisher, as you mentioned, has already been won already by Fnatic. It's a 36-7. They can clear that up pretty easily. Zealots will have to come up and put a little bit of damage there just to show that they're willing to contest the area to make Fnatic grab the Punisher and not wait. But Shad goes in for a fight. He finds a Greymane. Gets low with the Ancestral Palace. A pretty big mosh pit, but it gets disrupted.
It gets interrupted. The Sanctification is also on the ground, and Uther is down as the Punisher starts to move in, and Genji falls as well. A double kill. Rhaegar has died, but Shrimpy now in the copy is already on the move, trying to see if he can kill Zarmany, and he is close. Zarmany able to finally drop the copy, but still it's Fnatic moving through the mid lane now, getting one hit after another in the second fort has fallen, and they are destroying the tower as well. Good kills for Fnatic, dropping the structures too, and moving closer to their next massive power spike, which is going to be the level 13 on Leoric.
1 for 2 trade there for Fnatic. Could say it's a 1 for 3 if you count that fort as well. And already being in the top lane, working on the fort, forces Zealots to respawn. You just look at Zealots right now, and think about the playing Ducks. They had a lot of moments where they were trying to dictate the game, and they did pretty well at it. Against Fnatic in these last 2 series, everything has been a reaction. They can't find that moment to go on for a fight and put Fnatic on the back foot. And this is why Fnatic is so strong. They force you to bend to their will.
They just understand every single strength that their composition has and use it absolutely perfectly, as you could see earlier with a double push with Greymane and Rhaegar. And now it's again a catch-up game for the Zealots. You try and get your talent for the next fight on the shrines, but it's difficult, so you need to think, do we fight 10 versus 13 in talents? Are we willing to wait for 13 and accept another Punisher by Fnatic? Do we fall too far behind? And if Grandpa dies, if those are the fights that we are seeing right now, that is exactly what could happen. That a snowball starts that the Zealots are not being able to stop. Here comes the 13 talent. Breeze is low, tries to jump out and is able to do that. The 13 is in, and that is going to give us the next talent for Leoric. Ominous Wrath now taken.
That just feels unfair. We had Tyrael try to hit KT on the back line with an Abathur hat. And the only reason why they did that engage is not to get kills. They want Zealots to try and fight around the middle. They had Wubby and Smexy to run too, so Tyrael was able to use some mobility to get away. And that allowed Greymane in the top lane to just kill a fort. They fought that without their assassin. And it was all to delay the Zealots.
I love how you're pouting right now and you're like, that's unfair. I don't like it.
Character's broken, man.
Fnatic is definitely pretty broken here about how they're performing. I want to quickly highlight that Entomb on Leoric is, by the way, not what we are seeing most of the time these days. March of the Black King has become a lot more popular since it allows you to sustain yourself through a lot of these fights. So with Entomb, you have a bit of a different playstyle where you are trying to get isolation kills, but most of the time when you are in big 5 versus 5 battles, the value that you get out of March of the Black King is survivability.
But those are team fights, and Fnatic's not looking for team fights for now. They're just trying to get...
I mean, now they can.
Isolation, stretch people thin, get an experience lead.
Now they can definitely do that, but they are playing the macro game. You're absolutely right. And we've been talking earlier a bit about how strong Rhaegar and Greymane are on structures, and we see that again. Also, it's getting made even worse by the Khazra camp that is helping out. There is a bit of an attack happening. The problem is that Abathur can help out quite easily if he goes for the copy. And they're actually just deleting Kel'Thas quite casually, moving in. Casual kill against Kel'Thas, moving out there. It's like, we'll take that. Thinking about killing Grandpa Ket and Shat too.
That was a KT that was underneath the turret and fort, but with an Uther just being a couple of feet away. Fnatic identifies it, they go for a dive, they get the kill. Looking for some damage on the keep. Leo now in the top was in a 2v1 before Lauber was forced to come back, and he's actually ahead on the Shrine with a 21-8.
So they're getting the keep now too, or at least trying to. The copy is already on it. The rest of the team moves away. They had 2.5 levels ahead right now. They have taken the wall at the bot lane, half the HP of the keep. In the meantime, at the top, they're about to win the Punisher. I know what you mean. It doesn't feel fair.
It doesn't feel right. But it does feel right at the same time. Because it's Fnatic. This is a team that we want to be this dominant here in Europe. And it's good to see, but Zealots, you feel bad for them right now. I'm
really in the mood where I'm just like, can we just fast forward to Fnatic versus MVP Black? I mean, this is getting silly. Look how strong these guys are. 3 kills against 3, and they are just toying with their opponents at this point. Wubby is claiming the Punisher up at the top, and Fnatic is just insane. They're going to just backdoor the keep at the bot lane.
Yeah, continuing the trend of stretching their opponent's sin. They set up to make sure they don't get flanked. They walk straight towards
Look
the
at the
keep here.
minimap. The entire setup of the Zealots were trying to move top because they were attempting to flank a 5-man and flank into a team fight. Then they see them at the bot lane, and you see everybody starting to run bottom left because they're like,
Are they going core? They have Sank. They have Greymane.
I mean, at this point, why not?
Moving straight in for it. They'll be able to kite to the top left too, which is pretty cool about this. They have an escape route.
They can't.
To head to the Punisher.
They can't, even with Sank.
There it is. Sank comes out. There's the Ancestral. They're focusing it down. Ultimate Evolution coming out. A Mosh Pit does hit from Lauber. They're going to help to defend. They are getting pretty weak here. Quatinix is finally going to fall. The core falls to about 50%. Wubby is still there. So is Breeze, dropping down to 40. A hat comes in. The Explosion's going to help, but it's only, what, 6 to 8% depending on what level you are on. Still going to hit damage. There it is.
And, I mean, they're completely fine dying. They are still ahead, and they have the core at 20. I think at this point they just said, hey, there is a chance we can kill the core. Even if we don't, we still have every single fort on the map. The death timers are low, so they can't really capitalize on killing us. And at any point,
in the middle, though. Wait.
No. No.
Please, Shrimpy, don't do this.
If Shrimpy now slaps Genji and kills him, then I'm just going to walk off. That's going to be the moment where I'm like, okay, this is pointless. No, but seriously, Fnatic moves in and drops the core to 29%. Yes, they die, but at the same time, does it really matter? They have no backdoor potential.
Yeah, they can do it again now, too, when the Saint comes up. They can actually go for the win. They've done enough damage on there with double Greymane. Yeah. You could easily do 30%.
If they at any point are able to sneak past, so the Zealots cannot lose vision of the bot lane any longer. Because if at any point Fnatic is allowed to sneak in, even just Greymane Tyrael can end the game. Abathur gets the copy, Tyrael drops the Sanctification, then you have a double Grey main on the core. Tyrael drops the Sank, keeps him alive for a little bit, and then when Tyrael explodes, he drops another 5 to 6% of the core, and that's game.
And here's what they're doing. They're grabbing the Mercs on the top right so they can proc that push in the top. And Zealots do go defend that. They can go for that back door you were talking about. And they don't go defend it. Those Merc camps can't get damage on the keep.
This move that Fnatic just made with them going for the core and would not have worked if we were really late in the game and if those forts weren't standing anymore. Because if the death timers are around a minute and your opponent wipes you, they can easily go cross-map and do a significant amount of damage. But since the death timers were still extremely low and Fnatic had all the forts on the map, there was just absolutely no risk to them. The most that the Zealots could have gotten out of it is a kill against the 4. I mean, boo-hoo, big deal. Doesn't really matter if you already drop the keeps of your opponent. And there's Quacknix just standing there. Tyrael is there as well. And as I said before, only Tyrael and Greymane have to move onto the core. Then Shrimpy can use his copy and the game's going to be over.
Now Zealots, if they can find a way to get Fnatic to get caught out, find 1 or 2 kills, or try to force a team fight with the Malthael and the KT, that's where they can start to make their comeback. But Quacknix escapes the moment he sees Shad. The mine's constantly being annoying.
And just look how cool this is. Zealots have to really stand down there and they have to always protect it. Look at the minimap. Quacknix is sneaking around the bottom. He's sneaking around the wave. Tyrael is still in position. They're just trying to go in. There's Smexy being attacked and now they go for core. They're moving through. They just sneak past. We're going to see Abathur using the copy on Quacknix and Breeze jumps in. There's the copy. The bees are already happening. It's all about the Sanctification right now. This is going to be game. If they hit their spells properly, there's the Sanct and this is it. Game's over.
There it is. Fnatic with a double Greymane, Tyrael Sanctification, get a 3-0 over the Zealots and end the game in style.
That's one way.
That was one way to end the game.
I mean, at that point, the game was just simply over. They didn't even have to use the Tyrael explosion there.
Yeah, at that point.
That wasn't even close. They just had 2 Greymanes on the core, finished the game. Yeah, made it.
I felt like Fnatic was toying with their food right now. The Zealots falling apart pretty quickly, and you kind of have to wonder about their mental state. Constantly having to chase around a team and never get kills is almost depressing, it feels like, never finding those kills.
I mean, at the same time, you show them where the bar is at right now. So Zealots have been doing better and better. We had a close game on Dragonshire, but at some point, Fnatic just said, okay, guys, let's win.
And to note, just to give you perspective, there was only 3 kills that game for Fnatic. There was 8 for the Zealots, but it shows you that macro, being able to control the battleground and play around your opponent, is definitely a viable strategy if you're able to pull it off at that high level of a caliber. And well played by Fnatic, man, as they get another win. Go up to 12 wins here in the HGC Europe.
Yeah, Fnatic had a pretty close game on map 1, which lasted a bit longer. Then Shrimpy's mom said that food's ready. That's the moment when Shrimpy said, guys, I have another 10 minutes and we need to finish this.
Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can't pass up on those.
Can't pass up on them. I didn't get to try any, actually, when I went to Sweden. I was a little upset. I had
but you had the pancakes, though. So
I had the pancakes and the kebab pizza, which was pretty okay.
Yeah? Was that all? Really?
That was all I tried when I was there, man. I didn't have the chance. We were too busy casting video games.
Yeah, but breakfast was pretty good.
Breakfast was always good, and in Europe. We're going to get ready for this interview. After we get ready for the next match, though, we're going to have Dignitas and Team Liquid facing off. And Dignitas is looking to qualify for BlizzCon. If they win today against Team Liquid, they will get that qualification. Looks like we have Shrimpy ready to go here. Shrimpy, welcome to the HGC, and you earn another win today. That one feel a little bit hard at all?
Game 1 was pretty hard. The new Chromie feels insanely strong, actually.
Is that what kept you guys?
Before.
Is that what kept you guys at bay? Was the Chromie constantly poking and sniping the Vala?
Chromie is really good on Dragon.
Wait, says the guy that got 130 stacks on his Tyrande Owl and basically nearly one-shotted her?
Yeah, I mean, Chromie is the budget Tyrande, let's say that.
Over to you, Cal.
No. Yeah.
All right, so, I mean, congratulations, first of all. You guys did extremely well there. And you guys were bantering with Lauba, actually, quite a bit before, especially you. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, in high school, high school, I went to the same school as Lauber.
You did?
We had some, I think we had some classes together. Like, I don't know, is it called tailoring? I don't know. When you do the, with the nails and shit, I don't know.
Tim, you have to chip in here.
Sewing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Needles and stuff?
Class.
Okay, sewing.
Yeah.
You were in sewing class with Lauber.
I think I was. I don't remember, but we went to the same school, so that's pretty exciting, and I'm very happy for him getting this opportunity.
Okay, so outside of that, you guys completely ramped it up after game number 1, and you played with Abatha like twice now, especially on the last map. Did you actually expect to end the game with the first push that you made for core, or did you simply say, if we all die, we can just simply do it again with Tyrael and Greymane, or was from the start, or did you actually have the idea, okay, this is going to end with the first push?
We thought we would end for sure, but then like we stacked on the mosh pit after the sank. Like Lauber just sanked on the mosh pit, or the Lauber mosh pit on the sank, which was really good, and it got 3 of us. Otherwise, we probably would have ended. Yeah.
Okay. Overall, you guys said that you are just decreasing practice a little bit. You want to take a bit of a break and then, of course, focus more so on BlizzCon so that you guys don't burn out before the big tournament happens. Is that working out? Have you reduced a little bit? Do you guys have a bit more free time right now where you can relax? Or how is the training regime for you looking right now?
It's pretty much the same as last week. We took Monday, Tuesday off instead of only Monday, which we usually do. But we will see. Maybe we will slack even more next week. But it's hard for us not to practice. It feels weird not to practice, and it's I don't know. It feels really weird. So we're probably just gonna keep on going a little bit more less, but the same, yeah.
But you guys feel good for BlizzCon now. You watch Korea and already check out the other regions, prepare a little bit for it.
Oh, we feel confident we can do it. But it's gonna be hard, of course. And I think we have a good atmosphere now. We had some rough weeks before, but now it's all good, yeah.
All right, awesome, thank you.
I did want to ask you about our next match coming in. Dignitas and Team Liquid facing off. If Dignitas wins, they'll be able to get qualified for BlizzCon. And I'm having a hard time trying to peg where Team Liquid is as a team. Do you think going into this series they'll be able to match up against Dig, who has looked strong lately, or do you think Dig walks away easily?
I think Dig takes them pretty easily.
Okay.
They look stronger now that they actually have Nurok back on the range role. But I didn't scrim them since they did that very much. But I think it's a good change for them again, and I think they can take the 3rd spot, but they will probably fall to Dignitas.
Awesome. Well, good to hear from you. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on your victory. Before I let you go, the floor is yours.
I have a shout out to my teammate who's having a birthday. Someone in our team is having a birthday. I wasn't allowed to congratulate him, so I can't say his name.
Say it. Come on. Give it to us.
You all know who it is by now. Like, he doesn't like attention. He's pretty quiet, you know, this guy. And
has to be
yeah.
Lexi.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No, Whoopi.
Oh, Whoopi Wubby.
Yeah, Whoopi, of course.
Happy birthday, Wubby. Are we right?
Maybe, you know. it's a good guess. Yeah, and thank you for Fnatic. Thank you for everyone sharing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Congratulations to Fnatic. They get the win today here. A nice 3-0 over the Zealots, continuing to look strong. And happy birthday, Wubby. You deserve it, man. One of the best dancers, I think, on the team.
Oh yeah, now his moves in the boy band video. Oh my God, like that guy is just oozing passion every single second of that song.
That he is. And we'll be right back. Go ahead.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you missed something.
Go check it out.
What do you have actually to look at?
The Quack Street Boys.
Quack Street Boys? Quack Street Boys. Quack Street Boys on YouTube. Check it out. It's, I think, on the Fnatic YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. If you haven't seen that yet, it is rumored to be the best thing that is on the internet. So check it out and especially pay close attention to Whoopi. It is mind-blowing. I never thought that the guy had so much rhythm in his lap.
While you're watching the video, we're going to get ready for our next match, the big one, Dignitas versus Team Liquid. Can Dignitas qualify for BlizzCon? We'll see you soon. This is the HGC.